Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares, and it's time for a controversial view. Today we're going to be talking about Begotten. This is one of the most controversial, divisive films out there, and it's also sought after because it was in very limited print, both on VHS and on DVD, which has caused controversy in itself. A lot of people have had to resort to bootlegs in order to attain this film. But the real controversy is the film itself. Now, this is from, of course, director E. Elias Marriage. And he was responsible for Shadow of the Vampire, which I absolutely love. I've always liked that film. It just appealed to me. Now, this was his student film, and it is an interesting one. Now, my history with this film is one of, I think, most horror fans. This is a film I've always wanted to see, but because of its limited availability, it wasn't really around for me to watch. And like I said, I was always curious about it, hoping that I'd find it someday. But the time is finally now in order to talk about this. Now I'm going to give a brief synopsis, which is something I don't normally do during Controversial View, but it's the subject matter that causes the controversy. And I'm going to be as brief as possible. I don't want to really get into all the specifics. But when the movie starts, it is God sacrificing himself, disemboweling himself, killing himself, so that Mother Nature can be born. Now, Mother Nature, in turn, inseminates herself with the seed of God and creates the Son of God. Now, when the Son of God is born deformed, Mother Nature leaves him, and he is tortured by a bunch of faceless nomads, and him and his mother, I'm just going to get to the very end. Mother Nature, of course, comes back to get her child. They are both assaulted and killed, which is where life starts. Now, this was supposed to be told from the aspect of the beginning of time. And that is where the picture comes in of the film. Now, I've read a lot of reviews. I watched a lot of reviews. I read some articles from the director, which kind of told what he was going for with the film. As far as the way the film looks, as I said before, he was telling the story. He wanted the story to look as if it was from the beginning of time. So he used all these techniques in order to make the film look very bleached and overexposed, and he even used sandpaper on some of the film in order to get a certain look. He wanted to use an optical printer, but they were too expensive, so he actually built his own optical printer from parts. And I thought that was interesting because when you see a lot of filmmakers like Adam Green or this director, if they really want it bad enough, they do anything they can in order to make this a reality for themselves. They're very driven. Adam Green borrowed, we'll say borrowed the equipment and did a guerrilla style filmmaking. Don Coscarelli rented the stuff out for the weekend in order to do his own guerrilla style filmmaking. This is a little bit differently. This is done a little bit differently. The director was working with a improvisational, experimental acting group, and that's what's actually depicted in the film. Yeah, a lot to say about this. It is very divisive. Does it tell a cohesive story? Yes. But it's also up for interpretation, at least in your own mind. You can read what the director says the story is about, but it's what it means to you, I think, that's more important. It does tell a story of about religion, which is controversial in itself, but it has a weird effect. Like it's a very disturbing film, and it's a very off-putting film to the eyes when for myself when I first started watching it. But I found that once I got my eyes used to the filming style, it was actually kind of calming for me. Almost enjoyable, like I was relaxed. I don't know why that happened, but I don't know. I thought it was kind of a pleasant experience. And looking at the film in my own way, as well as what the film was intended to be, I thought it was an interesting way to tell a story. Like I said, this is very controversial because of the subject matter, and it has been very divisive among the horror community. Most people either love it or they hate it. I think it's an interesting film. I'm glad I was able to watch it. And yeah, like Joe says, we watch things so you don't have to. This is not going to be for a lot of people. I can guarantee you that. For people who have open minds, who want to see something that is truly a work of art, I do recommend this. And don't forget to check out Joe's controversial view for Begotten. Physical media matters. And until next time, peace.